Well, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Zach Nugent. I'm the CEO of Scalar. What is Scalar? Scalar is a valuation platform modernizing private company valuations for venture funds and private equity funds. Tell you a little bit about the origins of Scalar, because we're not your typical startup. We started in 2009, so we're a 16-year-old startup. When we started Scalar, we started with a clear objective to provide affordable, timely valuations to venture-backed and private equity-backed companies, as well as venture fund and private equity funds. When we started the firm, there were two services that we exclusively focused on. One was 409A valuations, and two were portfolio valuations for venture fund and private equity funds. Now, when we started Scalar in 2009, the market was dramatically different. We worked with venture funds that may have had 20, 25 portfolio companies, and private equity funds that may have had 8, 12 portfolio companies. With the influx of capital to the private markets, that same venture fund that had 20 portfolio companies now has 200 portfolio companies. And that same private equity fund may have had 8, 12 portfolio companies, now has 50 or 60 portfolio companies. As you can imagine, doing portfolio valuations on a quarterly basis for a venture fund that has 200 portfolio companies is dramatically different than doing it for 20 portfolio companies. So what does the GP have to do when it's valuing 200 portfolio companies on a quarterly basis? They have to collect an immense amount of data. How do they do that? They reach out to their portfolio companies and they're collecting financials, both historical and pro forma financials. They're collecting legal documents from their fund counsel, from corporate counsel, whether that's the COI or it's the cap table. And then they're also getting updates on the company from fund presentations and other relevant information that would be helpful to value the company. And they have to do all of that before they even start with the onerous task of valuing the actual portfolio company. Once they get all that information, they take it and they link it to an Excel model. And they have to make sure that Excel model is lined up with what they did on the previous quarter and the previous year. That methodology is prone to errors. Over the past 16 years, I can tell you this process is timely, onerous, and costly. And as a fund scales its operation and grows, so do the costs and resources and time that are allocated to doing your portfolio valuation. This is the exact solution that Scalar solves. How do we do it? We have a portfolio valuation software that is able to deliver timely, quality, affordable valuations at scale for venture funds and private equity funds. The first thing that we do that makes us unique is the ability to collect data in a very centralized way. Not all funds are equal. As you very well know, some funds have information rights, some don't have information rights, some are focused on early stage technology companies, some are focused on late stage companies. The data requests are very different. The platform allows you to customize the data that you need and to be able to securely and encrypted get that data into a centralized location that's usable. Now, once that data is in the software, it's easy to be able to link that data to our valuation models within our portfolio valuation platform, which is critically important, especially as funds are being audited by their financial statement auditors at year end. Now, once they have that data in, there's a myriad of valuation tools that are accessible to them. So whether you're an early stage biotechnology company that you're looking at running a commercialization model or some type of cost-based approach, or a middle market company that's in the HVAC industry, or a late stage growth equity company, the platform allows immense amount of flexibility and valuation techniques to be able to value the company. Now, that's just the first step when you're valuing a company. The second step, and sometimes the most important step, is looking at the allocation methodology. Ultimately, what's the value of the underlying security? And that is critically important of understanding the legal documents and understanding the deal terms to be able to allocate that equity value appropriately. And we employ multiple methodologies to do that within the platform, whether that's an option pricing method framework, a current value framework, or some type of waterfall. The best part about the software is you're not beholden to any methodology, and you can use the methodology that aligns with your valuation policy. Now, once you have all that data in the software, the nice thing is you can utilize it for other things other than just your portfolio valuation. As you look to raise new rounds of funding, or if you're going to have an M&A transaction. We have all the data in there to be able to do scenario and waterfall modeling. And the nice thing about the software is you're not beholden to it. It's not a captured ecosystem. So if you ever need to get your data out, you can export it to Excel at the click of a button. Additionally, the model that it's exportable for scenario and waterfall modeling is a dynamic waterfall model. So you have the formulas embedded in the Excel formula that you can utilize beyond just a one-time hard-coded model. There's dashboards and reporting related to this software, and ultimately it's ASC 820 compliant for US GAAP. If you're on the Scalar, portfolio valuation platform, you also get access to our vast experience. As I mentioned at the beginning, unlike many of the startups here, Scalar's been around since 2009, and we've been fortunate enough to be able to value more than 11,000 companies in the last 16 years. We've performed more than 31,000 valuations, all while maintaining an average net promoter score of 92. Not bad. Kudos to the team. We're headquartered in Salt Lake City, and we have a secondary office in Dallas, Texas, but we also have an international presence. We have an office in Cordoba, Argentina, and recently acquired a firm in Tel Aviv, Israel. Scalar's global. While the majority of our clients are based here in the US, we also have funds that we work with in Europe, Asia, and Latin America. We understand that when funds are trusting our services and our platform, that we're SOC compliant. So we have both our SOC 1 and SOC 2 audit completed. So what's our mission? Our mission is simple. Scalar's mission is to be the valuation infrastructure for the private markets. So whether you're a venture fund, a private equity fund, a hedge fund that's a crossover fund that invests in private markets, a 40 Act fund, a mutual fund, any investor that invests in the private markets and needs a timely, affordable, quality-driven product to be able to meet their compliance needs, that's what Scalar's built for. What's our ask? Our ask is simple. We want to work with fund advisors, we want to work with fund admins, fund counsel, corporate counsel, and being able to help streamline the valuation process for the private markets. If there's any way we can help do that, we would welcome the opportunity to connect. Thanks so much.